Triton community, this is Jeremy Riffle, Superintendent of Triton School Corporation, along with Mason McIntyre, Triton School Corporation Athletic Director, and Todd Zieger from Indiana Landmarks. Just very briefly, I just want to highlight the great things that are happening on campus. If you haven't had the opportunity to be on campus here lately, we're welcoming 9 brand new staff members, which we're super excited about. As of right now, we have nearly 50 new students that will be calling Triton School Corporation their school for the very first time, so we're super excited about that. The band has been working extremely hard for the last 4 weeks. Football team, tennis team, volleyball team, cross-country team, our girls golf team have been putting in a lot of work, and we're looking forward to awesome seasons in all of those areas. We've also had several capital projects going on, capital improvements taking place, such as the new trainer's room, a facelift to the new fence at the door 4 entryway, and then, of course, the brand new Activities Center. That being said, a topic of conversation in our community around our school corporation is why we're here today, and that's simply to what's going to happen with the old gym. There's been a newspaper article written about it. We've had conversations about it both in the community and in the athletic department, and our job today is just to simply talk to you a little bit about that, what the process is going to be moving forward, and try to be as open and honest and transparent as possible with that. So with me, Mr. McIntyre, our athletic director, is going to talk briefly a little bit about the Friends of the Old Gym, what the process has been for the last few years, and maybe where we're headed with that.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Jeremy. A number of years ago, a small group of people, and Todd was involved in this, when we started looking at this old gym, thinking what do we do next with this? It was getting to be, well, just continue to grow in age and have more and more maintenance issues. And we talked about, you know, do we put our dollars into this building, or do we build a new building at the high school? And after studies and surveys and lots of conversations, obviously we decided to build the new Activities Center at the high school. And it kind of, again, brings us to where we are today. But leading up to that, we wanted to make sure that we had a lot of evidence and just support for the different thoughts that we had. So we formed a group called the Friends of the Old Gym, and that committee really was just put together as a group of people who were concerned about this building, who wanted to try to just make sure that it maintained the iconic status that it has. And Todd was a big part of that, creating this, or naming this a historic landmark. And so we were able to get that through and form this committee. That committee was a nonprofit organization that allowed us to rent out the facility and provide it to the community in that way. And so we spent, I don't know, I think it's been 6 or 7 years that we have had that going and looked at the organization, trying to figure out again what our next steps were for this building. And so we're looking now again at that topic pretty heavily as we open the new Activity Center to try to determine what's next going forward here.
Thank you, Mason. A 90-year-old facility that's proved to treat our school corporation and our community well, and it's one of those things. There's a lot of sentiment, Todd, so we can get our emotions wrapped up in a lot of things, but there's also the fiscal responsibility of the school corporation and trying to make decisions on what's best moving forward. And so thank you so much for being part of this process. Obviously, you have been kind of from the beginning. As we started talking, it's like, yeah, we need to start making some decisions. So I'm going to turn it over to you. If you would talk briefly, just kind of what the RFP process looks like and what the community needs to know from your perspective.
Well, thank you. Great to have a conversation about this wonderful building, and aptly named the community building. It's known as the Old Gym, has been known as the Old Gym pretty much since it was built back in 1928. People just referred to it that way, even though it was built on, the front says community building, right. But I love that name. It's a community asset, and it has been part of this community for a very long time, and really has out-survived similar buildings like it that were in La Paz or Argus, and really survived more historically authentic in a sense of any gym. It really in quite a bit of an area here. So it just comes back to that. It's part of this community. It's an old building, but it's historic because of its architecture, but also because of all those memories. All the people that came here to see the senior plays or the junior plays or the dances or the basketball games. I mean, historic buildings are special because of what happened in them with the people. And this really can be a touchstone moving forward. And that's where we come in. Indiana Landmarks, we're a not-for-profit, kind of like the Old Gym, Friends of the Old Gym. We just happen to have done a lot of old buildings, historic buildings around the state. And we're a resource for those who want to come together to put a proposal together for that request for proposals that'll be coming forward here in the next, over the winter and into the spring. We can be a resource, maybe thinking about incentives, how might it be adapted, what it might be used for. I think for us, the golden ring, the best use is kind of what it's been. I mean, it's been a community part of this asset. In some sense, well, could you convert it into housing? Well, yeah, you could take a box and put apartments in it, but it really wouldn't be the old gym anymore, and that kind of begs the question. So we really would hope that folks in the community, I think there's lots of conversation about that, kind of continuing this use, looking for the dollars to renovate it. It is old. It's really solid, but it needs to be updated. It's time. And so the dream is there, but we need to see resources and work with you to find that plan, that dollars come forward, at least to begin working to stabilize the building, take care of things that are really in danger. There's some things just need to be dealt with, maybe short term, and then a realistic plan over the next 2 to 3 years to get the building in service. I think that makes a lot of sense, and the building will work for that. So we're a resource. Indiana Landmarks can be contacted throughout the process to talk to interested parties and groups that come forward.
Very good, Todd. And Todd is the expert on that area, where we try to be the experts in education. So hopefully working together, we can make something really, really special happen, which is our hope. A lot of rumors, a lot of thoughts of what this will become. Sure. And quite frankly, if we don't know about that, I'm not sure that any of that is true yet. So that's just the open facts of what's happening and who we're working with. We're going to ask that, Todd, your contact information be shared. So Absolutely. If anybody's interested, they can contact you. And, of course, you can always contact us at the school through our emails or at the administration building at 574-342-2255. But to wrap this all up, we've talked about this at the last couple board meetings. We will continue to do that at the August 12th board meeting, just to kind of review what's going to be brought to light at the August 14th the Bourbon Old Gym community meeting. Just simply going to be a time that's going to be held at the Old Gym, chairs, and just talking about some of the highlights of things that have happened in this building and maybe how we can move forward with that. So that's August 14th at 6 p.m. And then reminders from there on out will be reminded of just where we're at in that process at continuing board meetings. The RFPs, the request for proposal, will be due March 14th of 2020. And last but not least, a decision to be made by the Triton School Board of Trustees by April 30th of 2020. So we're looking forward to the process. It's something that's been a long time coming, and we're really excited about the possibility of some proposals. This building has served our community for 90 years, and we hope it can continue to serve our community for 90 more years, blessing kids and being a safe refuge for them. So we're hopeful for that as we continue to build something great together.